Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have another 2024 election update. Hillary Clinton, who evidently has the self awareness of a middle school girl, has come out and said that, oh, we need to start jailing Americans for posting misinformation. Yes, Hillary Clinton, I guess she is finally ready to turn herself in after the pathetic. We want to talk about the biggest misinformation, disinformation campaign we've seen. It was the Steele dossier. It was the Trump Russian hoax, which tied Trump to Russia and made it seem like Russia helped Trump win. Trump was under investigation for 2.5 years. Over half of his entire administration for the 4 years was mired into it, where people were calling him an illegitimate president. That was done by Hillary Clinton, and she only gets an $8,000 fine for it. And now she says, oh, I was part of the biggest misinformation campaign we've seen recently, and it mired Trump's entire administration to where liberals were calling him an illegitimate president for 2.5 years. But we need to start jailing those disgusting conservatives. We need to jail people for misinformation and disinformation. And this is why they hate Elon Musk so much. And how about the attention whore Mark Cuban coming out and like whining and crying like a little baby? He is so jealous of two fellow billionaires, Donald Trump and Elon Musk. He's like, I want to buy X, but Elon will never sell it. Yeah, no shit. He said that, and then he's like, oh, he also wanted to buy Fox News. He is so jealous of Elon Musk. He wants to be Elon Musk. It's never going to happen. He's like, Mark Cuban is trying to be the liberal Elon Musk, and he's out of control. But I'm going to go ahead and play this. Oh, this is on MSNBC. And by the way, Hillary, I don't know what happened. She looks a lot worse. Let's see what's going on.
Boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged
like you. Yes,
is something that would be a better deterrence.
Right. So she says, oh, they're civilly charged or criminally charged. Let's send them to jail. No. Make no mistake about it. This is exactly what the UK has done. And that's why liberals were so jealous of the UK during all those riots, because they started jailing people for tweeting stuff out on social media. And that's what she's saying. She's saying if there's a post that oh, they don't like, or maybe it causes something to happen, that should, and it's not even anything crazy. It's like people got jailed for emojis and small little things. It's really just because they don't go along with the establishment thought. And that's a big problem. Of course, there's an even bigger problem with the idea of doing this. They should have already learned back when it came to the Russian hoax. At least they weren't taking people offline for saying that it was fake. We know what they did with the whole 2021 during the pandemic. All of the doctors that came out and said, no, that, there's some problems with the vaccine. They would just take them offline. They would shut down their accounts. And obviously we know now that that is a horrible, horrible thing. Even doctors that were fully qualified. It is remarkable. And they just didn't go along with the overall groupthink, because look at Pfizer paying CNN, paying all these mainstream media companies. That was the overwhelming narrative. And so why do they hate that Elon Musk has taken over X? Well, they can't control all of social media. X is really the main influential political platform. It's way more influential than Facebook at this point in terms of politics. Facebook, sure, they've got older people, but really it's X is where it's at. And then obviously it's more influential than Instagram. You could argue maybe YouTube. YouTube obviously is extremely influential as well, but just they're all right there. They don't have control of X. Hillary Clinton comes out and says we need to jail Americans for misinformation when she was part and orchestrated the biggest misinformation thing we've seen in the last 10 years with the Russian hoax and the Steele dossier, and her campaign funding it, and then they get an $8,000 fine, and it's all totally fake. It's made up. But this is what they do now. They'll just make up narratives, and then it turns out it's fake. This is the craziest example of it. She is telling us we need to be jailing Americans. Look at what you just did less than a decade ago, honey. What are we talking about here? And now, this is the same thing that happened with the Springfield, where they're like, oh, now it's because of J.D. Vance and he's a racist and Trump. There's bomb threats in Springfield. And it turns out they're all hoaxes and they were all from overseas. But Dana Bash told that to J.D. Vance and blamed him. And you had Lester Holt blaming Donald Trump for his own assassination attempt because of his rhetoric in Springfield. So what they'll do is something horrible will happen, like filling a small town with, 20,000 Haitian migrants. The town did not ask for this. They just got it. And now it's being reported that, like, there's like 3/4 of the classrooms that are Haitian migrants. But no, that's totally fine. Of course, none of these people that are saying we need the migrants and you're racist, none of them would ever allow their kids to be in a town like that or live there. They're all complete hypocrites. But no, we have to accept it. And the people in that town, if you don't accept it, you're the racist. So see, you have to understand how this whole thing works. But the narrative, like, oh, JD Vance and Trump, they're the reason for the bomb threats. It turns out it's all fake. Will we get an apology from CNN, from Dana Bash? Absolutely not. The next time JD Vance has an interview with Dana Bash, he needs to say, what you said was completely false. You just said it because you have a liberal agenda and you need to own up for it and apologize, and then we can move on with the conversation, because we're not going to let this stuff slide anymore. This is absurd. You're going to gaslight us and dump 20,000 people into a small town that's conservative in Ohio and say everything's fine and force us to swallow I mean, that's what it is. It's like they're forcing you to swallow a pill that's this big. You just need to swallow it. If you don't swallow it, you're racist. If you don't accept this, you're racist. But no, they would never live there. But white people that live there have to accept it or they're racist. They're total hypocrites. It's unbelievable. We've also got this. There it is. DeWine says 33 bomb threats have been made. They're all hoaxes. Donald Trump is safe, healthy, enjoying Mar-a-Lago. Students in Springfield are learning remotely because of bomb threats that were called in from overseas. So it's impossible to argue with them. They want Donald Trump's head to be blown off. How do I argue with these people? If your entire argument is like, we can have political arguments, Democrats versus Republicans, but if the entire thing just comes to you want the dude dead anyways, and you don't want there to even be a vote, what's the point? Like, seriously, like, that's what these people want. So it's like, when you argue with them, it's like, there's really no point. There's no rationale. They don't want us to have the ability to vote for Donald Trump. They're telling us this. They're telling it every assassination attempt. They're telling us that they don't want us to have the ability to vote for Donald Trump. They want that to be eliminated from, we rightfully have nominated him for a third time now to be the Republican nominee. And he's a heavy favorite in all the major polls. If you don't believe me, go look at the accuracy on pollsters. All of the accurate polls have Trump up and about a 60 to 70% chance to win the election. And of course, Trump has a huge, is a huge favorite based off of the fact that they had to get rid of their own incumbent president. Pennsylvania, Trump +2. Atlas Intel, the most accurate pollster, has Trump at a 70% chance to win the election. The mayor of Springfield, Ohio, is making millions by replacing a third of the population of his town with Haitian immigrants. Let's take a look at an impressive abuse of power and bag chasing. This is why the mayor of Springfield hates Trump. Yeah, the mayor's like, I'm making all this money. No, don't worry, guys. No, Trump's big bad. Just to let this happen. Just let it happen. Oh, and he gets exposed here. He's making a bunch of money from these people coming in. And there are all the details right there. And we've got this Marco Rubio coming out. Iran is actively seeking the assassination of President Trump. So are they going to kill Trump and then blame it on Iran? Is that potentially a strategy that could be deployed? Chris Cuomo, he came out and apologized to Trump. And, people don't like Chris Cuomo. I get it. But he has woken up and he's realized, like, this, the whole thing where it's like you're okay with Trump dying and getting killed and saying he brought it on himself. Like, that's just ridiculous. That's not how we operate as a country. That's third world bullshit. If you want someone to be eliminated just because you're afraid or you can't beat them. The other thing is, these people are so wired by the media. Okay, so do we remember back in 2016? This is something I thought of earlier today. Remember when they said, oh my God, Donald Trump could be in control of the nuclear codes. Oh, we're all gonna die. And of course, they're not saying that now because Trump was in control for 4 years and we had way more peace than we have right now under the Biden-Harris administration. But I just thought that was funny, that was one of the big things that they would say. Could you imagine Donald Trump? Oh my God, in control of the nuclear codes. Meanwhile, you've got liberals that want Ukraine to join NATO, which literally, so you want World War III. Just tell me you want World War III. If Ukraine joins NATO, we have World War III, so you want that. Or maybe they're too dumb to realize it. They probably have very limited, understanding, but it's unbelievable. Kind of wild that the Trump assassin has actually done more interviews has done more major media interviews than Kamala Harris. Well, they should just use his interviews instead of Kamala's because she won't do any. They should just use his interviews. I mean, they believe the same thing. They're both far left. Dana Bash. All right, I actually never watched this clip, but I did see this. Let's see. This is the whole thing with Dana Bash and JD Vance and the bomb threats.
Nobody is disputing that the town of Springfield, Ohio, needs help. But
I wonder why it needs help.
You're not just a bystander. You're the senator from Ohio. So instead of saying things that are wrong and actually causing the hospitals, the schools, the government buildings to be evacuated because of bomb threats, because of the cats and dogs.
All of the bomb threats were from overseas. There it is. Mike DeWine says 33 bomb threats. They were overseas and they were hoaxes. So they originated from overseas and they're false. But no. JD Vance caused it, of course. And this is the gaslighting. You send it to 20,000 migrants. JD Vance says it's bad, but it's JD Vance's fault. It's your fault. You're the reason for it. We send the 20,000 migrants. Don't pay. And notice how she glosses over it. We know Springfield needs help. If I was JD Vance, I would cut her off. Why does Springfield need help? Answer that, and then we'll move on with the interview. And hopefully she'll say because 20,000 Haitian migrants got bussed in there in a town that has a population of 50K. Now we're getting to the root of the issue. See, Dana? But, and just the gaslighting. So JD Vance calling out this is bad, but it's your fault. You can't call it out. You're racist. You can't call it out. We've also got this. Pennsylvania. Oh, yeah, I wanted to look at the crosstabs. This is a pretty detailed poll that has Harris up by 3 in Pennsylvania. Doesn't really matter. But you can see Shapiro with a plus 32 approval rating. They had Trump at minus 11. I think Trump's anywhere from minus 7 to minus 11. This is a swing state, so you would expect it to be kind of accurate in terms of that because it's going to have similar Democrat-Republican ratio with independents. But this is what I want to talk about. So for Trump, I highly doubt this is the case. There is no way with how, you liberals have basically said men are the devil. There is no way that Trump is winning males less than Harris is winning females. And I think that's what's going to win Trump the election. There is no way that is possible. It is impossible. Liberals say they hate men. I understand men are still going to vote liberal. I'm not saying it's going to be no one, but it's got to be, Trump's got to get 60%. And I think Trump will. And I think that's part, if Trump is losing Pennsylvania by 3 with these numbers, male to female, I think there is no way Trump wins males by less than Harris wins females. No way that happens. So this poll, and it's got Harris winning independents by 5 as well. So these are good numbers for Trump, considering, you look at some of these internal things, this is crap. There's no way that men are going to go for Trump 60%, 61%. With Harris, she's going to take the females by less, I think, personally. And I think that's going to help Trump in a lot of these swing states. So I think these numbers are not accurate in terms of what's going to be happening on election night. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.